Hey there, have you been struggling to be the nerdy healer? Or maybe just wondering how to play the scholar job in Final Fantasy XIV? Well, then this video is for you. In this video, I will be going through each spell one by one and will try my best to help you with when to use which spell and also what they do. This video will cover from level 1 to level 60 because I'm assuming most people will be on the free trial, and even if you are not on free trial, you will still have to go through the leveling and learning process. With that said, let's begin. First, let's talk about how to even unlock Scholar. To unlock Scholar, you will need the Arcanist class. Once you finish your level 30 class quest, you can unlock Scholar. Don't forget to equip the Soul Crystal though, because that is what transforms your Arcanist class to Scholar job. And Scholar is not just a simple healer. Scholar is a healer and a shielder. So keep that in mind. Okay, confession. I know I just said I will cover from level 1, but it's going to be like from level 16 because from that level you will be doing your duties. But let's start with the spells. First is the Ruin. It's a single target damage spell. You will use them mostly during boss fight or if there's a single target. Next is Bio. Bio is a dot spell. Dot stands for damage over time. It's an instant spell that will do damage over a certain period of time. You keep this dot on the boss all the time and try to put the dot on multiple mobs while the tank is pulling the mobs aggro and on the run. Physique is your first single target healing spell and it has a cast time. You will start with this healing spell, however soon it will be relevant, but at the start this is your main healing spell. Now let's get to your partner. Every nerd has an imaginary fairy tale partner, just this time it's an actual fairy. Well, you have two fairy, Eos and Selene, but you can only have one with you at a time. And it doesn't matter which one, they both serve the same purpose. And yes, you want them out all the time as they will provide passive heal at the start and take over almost all the healing by the time you reach endgame. But we're not here to talk about endgame. Whispering Dawn. You command your fairy to cast an AoE regen spell. AoE stands for Area of Effect and regen means everyone affected by it will recover HP or health point over time. And this is the first spell with long cooldown, 60 seconds to be exact. So you have to be careful about when to use it. But don't worry, I will be talking about when to use which spell in a bit. Ruin 2. It's like Ruin, but it's an instant spell for a bit more MP cost. You won't be using it much, but during boss fight, while you're trying to avoid being hit, it could be handy to keep up your DPS, but then again, you're a healer, so DPS is not really your first priority. At least not in normal dungeons and raids, only in the latest ultimate raids. Adloquium. It is a single target shield and heal spell with a cast time. The shield is called Galvanize, but I will be referring it as shield to keep things simple. From level 30 duty, it will become your primary healing spell. But you won't be forgetting about Physique just yet. They will complement each other as we will see in a bit. Succor is just like Adloquium, but for multiple people. Anyone in your party and near you will be affected by a shield and get a bit of healing. So you might be asking, is there any point in casting Adloquium now that you have access to Succor, since you can put shield on multiple players with this? Well, yes, there is. If you notice, Adloquium has more potency, which means more heal and shield. At level 38, you will have an upgrade version of Bio as Bio 2. For elimination is also your fairy spell, but instead of healing, it reduces the taken damage who is affected by it. This is your second spell that has a long cooldown, 120 seconds, so once again, you will have to be careful about using it. Ether Flow is what I like to call your reload ability. It will give you Ether Flow Gauge 3. What those are basically what you will consume to cast some spells, so they're basically like bullets. That's why I call Ether Flow Reload. It has a 60-second cooldown. One of the spells you will be casting using Ether Flow is Energy Drain, which is an instant damage spell with a bit of self-heal, but it's very insignificant. And the other one is Lustrate. It's a single target instant healing spell which will cost you 1 Ether Flow. There will be few more spells you will get, but at this level these two are it. Art of War. It's an instant damaging spell to all nearby enemies. So yeah, you will have to get close and personal with this one. At level 50, you will get Sacred Soil. It's another AoE spell that reduces damage taken by everyone in that area. But this one, you have to put it down at your desired location. So you can place it at any area you know you will be fighting, but still not there yet, given you're close enough, that is. It has a 30-second cooldown, and you will need an Ether Flow to be able to use it. Indomitability is an instant AoE heal with a 30-second cooldown, and costs 1 Ether Flow. At level 34, you will upgrade your Ruin to Brawl, which just does more damage, everything else is the same. At level 56, you will get Deployment Tactics with a 120-second cooldown. I'm gonna be honest, even I don't really know why you want to use this spell, but here's what it does. It spreads the shield you cast with Ad Liquidum to others around the target, but it doesn't reset the shield timer nor the shield's health. So maybe you casted Ad Liquidum by mistake instead of Succor. It can help you with that? I don't really know. I barely ever use it, just cause it's off cooldown and it's begging me to use it. At level 58, you will get Emergency Tactics. It will turn your shielding spells Ad Liquidum and Succor from a shield and healing spell to purely healing spell. And it has a 15-second cooldown. And at level 60, there's Dissipation. It works a lot like Ether Flow spell, but it has a 180-second cooldown. And for that 30-second, your fairy will leave your side. But for those 30 seconds, your own healing potency increases by 20%. You really don't want to use it during combat though. You can use it between pulls, so you can have full ether gauge by the time you are on your next pull, and you will also have your ether flow ready to be cast if you're really struggling to keep up with the healing. Anyway, that's about covers every spell at level 60. You can go over the traits on your own if you're interested. Oh, I almost forgot the role spells, so let's quickly take a look. Repose will put the target to sleep. It has cast time, so you probably won't be using it too much. Isuna is an important one, as it removes debuffs from the target. Any debuff like Poison, Terror, Doom with a bar over them can be removed using Isuna. Lucid Dream is also very important, as it gives you a regen boost to your MP. So try using it whenever you are halfway in your MP. Swiftcast makes your next spell to be instant. It can be a lifesaver if you are on the run and the tank is about to die. So an instant heal, but there's a better use of it. You can combine it with your Resurrection spell to res the dead target instantly, as Resurrection does have a long cast time. Surecast makes you immune to knockbacks, so you can keep casting or just don't get pushed off the incoming damage. Rescue is basically a pull ability. You can pull a friendly target to you. You can save them from dying or from taking damage if they got themselves into trouble. Now that we're done with the spells introduction, let's get into dungeon examples, as you will be mostly running those. Starting with level 16 dungeons, first thing is first, always make sure your fairy is out. And another thing, you don't have to do it, but it does help, set focus to your target. The default shortcut is Shift F. It will help you keep track of the tank's HP and will let you target them fast. Alright, when the tank is pulling the mobs, just run beside them and put bio dot on as many as possible. Don't forget to sprint if the tank is going too far to catch up with them. Your fairy and you needs to be at range to be able to heal them. For that, you will be using physique. And don't panic, that's the trick. Remember, the game does not allow you to pull more mobs than your party can handle. So if there are mobs to pull, you can handle them. And for boss fight, right after the tank gets aggro, you put your bio on it and keep casting Ruin. You don't really have to heal the tank during boss fights at all at this level. Your fairy got this. Next, level 20 dungeon. Everything's the same, but now you have Whispering Dawn. So when to use it? You use it right after the tank is done pulling the mobs and get stationary. Mind your fairy though, if your fairy got far behind, there will be a delay, and anyone outside the range of your fairy won't get affected by it. That's about it. Rest is the same. Next, let's see what do we do at level 30. Because now you have Adloquium, which, as I have mentioned before, shields and heals the target, the friendly target. So before the tanks start running, cast Adloquium on them, and then run while putting your dot on as many as you can. Once done with the pull, cast Whispering Dawn and recast Adloquium. Try to be as fast as you can because the tank will be taking a huge damage right after the pull. But again, don't panic. If the tank gets too low, cast Physique right after casting Adloquium and repeat. 1 Adloquium, 1 Physique, 1 Adloquium, 1 Physique. The shield from the Adloquium will buy you the time to need finish casting Physique. And that's it. For the boss fight is the same, cast Adloquium on the tank as he is pulling and then keep doing your damage. And occasionally cast Adloquium through the battle wherever you see fit, especially during the tank busters. By level 40, you will get Fey Illumination and Succor. So we're just gonna add a Fey Illumination with Whispering Dawn, nothing more. Don't worry about the cooldown. If the tank is pulling the maximum number there is, your spells will be up before you're done pulling the second pack. And you can cast Succor before the tank starts running for the mob pulls, or right before he pulls the boss instead of Adloquium, as most bosses do cast an AoE burst right after the pull. Now let's jump to level 50 dungeon so I can show you better use of Succor alongside with the other new spells. So for mobs, before you start pulling, cast Succor. Put dot on as many as you can, but this time, as soon as you get into combat, you will be able to cast Ether Flow. And you want to cast it as soon as possible, as you will need your Ether Flows to cast other abilities. So when the tank is done pulling, place down your Sacred Soil where you will be fighting. Cast Whispering Dawn, Fey Illumination if they are off cooldown, and cast Adloquium for good measure. Then start spamming Art of War. Your tank should be fine. But if your tank starts getting low, just cast Adloquium and repeat. For the boss, cast Succor, put a dot on it, and then put down your Sacred Soil and continue with your DPS. Also, this is a stack marker. This means you will need multiple pair to soak the damage, otherwise you will die from the incoming damage. So what do? You put down your Sacred Soil and cast Succor. Now I know it's a bit tight on the time to do both, so start with the Sacred Soil. If you couldn't cast it before the hit, you will need the heal right after either way. And for those markers, you need to get as far as possible from them and do the same as before. Put down your Sacred Soil and cast Succor. If you're far enough, they should cause you no damage. If you see your Ether Flow is already off cooldown, but you still have Ether Flow gauge, just use them for energy drain for their damage and recast Ether Flow. You really don't want to keep your spells off cooldown. But if you're panicking and just want to be cautious, you can keep it off cooldown for the future. Don't worry, no one's gonna complain about that. By level 60, you will get Deployment Tactics, Emergency Tactics, and Dissipation. But as I said, Deployment Tactic is up to you if you do want to use it instead of Succor, be my guest. And Emergency Tactics can be helpful if you are out of Ether Flow gauge. You can cast it and then cast Ad Liquidum for a big single target heal, or Succor for a big AoE heal instead of shield and heal. And Dissipation, you can cast it during pulls. I'm sorry I couldn't really show you an example because the way I heal, I don't really need to use Dissipation that much. So just trust me on this. You can use it between two pulls. But I don't think you will need it, to be honest. If the tank and your gear is at the right level, you won't struggle, but just in case, remember you do have Loose Trade and Indomitability as your single target and AoE instant heal. And I believe that covers everything. You will be doing the same thing in level 50 to 60 raids, and level 50 to 60 raids are easy, and you will also have another healer with you, so you can take your time to get used to them. Hope the video helped you with your troubles with Scholar. But on a personal note, Scholar is arguably the worst healer in Final Fantasy XIV, especially for new healers. I struggled a lot to get used to its gameplay myself. So if you're still struggling, don't be upset. Maybe try other healers for now. I suggest White Mage if you're new to this game and healing. And my next guide video will be about how to White Mage. So if you enjoyed this video and if it was helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when I post more videos like this. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Until then, stay safe everyone.